my health, I just, like I said, it was like a near fatal heart attack. It took me to the doctor, and I begged God to give me something that would help me. And then Kim came along, and I got into Isagenix, but then at New Year kickoff 2014, Isagenix got into me. And it's been a couple of years, and I'm still working on the physical side, but every single day I thank God for Isagenix, and I thank God for this tribe, and I thank God for you and Angelique, and I pray for you guys and your children, and you're just wonderful people, and your blessings, and you lead us in such a way that you get that, what you're talking about, that tribe environment. And oh my goodness, I'm so emotional. I'm so sorry. I just want to tell you how much it's changed my life and how much the products have made me feel better. And I run into that almost every single day, people talking about how expensive it is. But like my husband said, he would pay anything to get back the girl that he had, that had the spark in her eye and the joy and the laughter and the fun and everything before, you know, the 300-pound heavy, couldn't walk, tired, on the pills, had hired people to come into the house, had to clean the house, help do the laundry, do everything for me. Now I'm able to take care of my own house and do my things, and that's vital. That's vital. So the life that Isagenix gives me is like, I don't have big words. I cannot express it, but from my heart, it gave me back my life, if that makes sense to anybody. It physically, emotionally, spiritually, with connecting with everybody, and everything about Isagenix has given me exactly what I needed now to pick it up and keep talking and sharing now, and just going out and telling more people, inviting more people. And I believe it was your sweet Angelique told us, how can we not tell people how this has changed our life? How can we not? It's our duty. It's an obligation that you have. And like you told me, you got to get out there. And it's like we have the best of everything. We're not to hide it. We don't take our light and hide it under a bushel. We want to shine it for the world.
Yep.
And that's what I'm working on. The business side is getting it out there for everybody, because again, spiritually, physically, mentally, I love Isagenix. I love you guys.
So Mary, you know, guys, we're talking about the value. If you just joined us, we're talking about the value of what we do. And much more beyond, again, like I always say, much more beyond a protein shake. As you just heard Mary talk about what it's brought to her life, and what her husband said about, look, anything to get my wife back, that sparkle in her eye. I mean, that's something, that's a description right there, that how many people would say when someone's talking about it, you know what, you ever want to get your wife or your husband's sparkle back in his eye? You know, because we don't think about that. We surface code it. And we talk about that 5 or 10 pounds, and that's great. That's what we started with. But the culture and getting that sparkle back is what it leads to. And we talk about the value, and no, you're already spending money on things. It's not expensive. It's accurately priced in the market. You're already spending money on things. You know what's expensive is a $250 bottle of wine. That's expensive. A $3 shake is not expensive, especially one that you're going to do and it's going to make you feel better. And it's going to give you all the nutrients you need, right? You know what's expensive is a $1,200 purse. That's expensive. $259 for a system of vitamins and nutrients and life-giving adaptogens is not expensive. Let's think about that. All right, Deanna, Chuck?
For me, it was, I knew this was an opportunity, but I didn't think it was an opportunity for me at the time. But once I started seeing, you know, you mentioned excellence, and that is something that even in our other business, cabinet refinishing stuff, our goal is to promote excellence. Our goal is to set high standards and exceed expectations. And I think this company has all that stuff. You know, it has great products. It has great customer, you know, it's just great service. And so we're only as good as we learn to be. So it does help promote our self-development and stuff like that. I see a lot going on with Isagenix that when I first looked at it, I knew it was an opportunity, but I didn't know it was an opportunity for me. And so now I got to bring that to other people and show them the value of the company as far as the opportunity and the products and the service that we provide too.
Well, Chuck, you guys were both at the Super Saturday, right? So Mary just got emotional. There was 2 people on that stage that lost over 200 pounds this past weekend. Over 200 pounds. And one lady, 250 pounds. Describe because you had a really good seat up front. Describe the emotional shift in the room and in those people that you could see from their old lives compared to what they are now. What did that do to you?
You hear those stories, and again, it's one of those things. You hear those stories, but to actually see them right in front of you, it just made more sense. You know, it's like I can see it. I saw the pictures. It just made it real. It made it real to just be there and see it.
Can you imagine right now if every one of you went to the gym and took a 100-pound dumbbell in each hand and started trying to walk around? That's when it brings it home. And that's an extreme case. You know, I mean, there's a couple people who have lost over 200 pounds, but next time you're at the gym or somewhere, grab a 25-pound plate, grab a 50-pound dumbbell, and just walk around with it for a couple minutes and realize that's what people are losing. You know, that's an average story sometimes of what someone who has a lot of weight to lose will lose, 25 to 50 pounds. Now, the time frame isn't important, but they lose it. So we're talking about value, and I wanted to make sure I just started recording it because I wanted to make sure that everybody is able to share this. So I'm going to repeat it one more time, and then we'll get more shares. And then you guys have already heard this, so forgive me. It says, excellent products and services will always generate excellent returns and rewards. Markets always accurately reflect what a product or service is truly worth. High-quality products naturally generate above-average rewards. Thus, a company which has earned a reputation for excellence will be able to charge a premium, and customers will be willing to pay for the promise of greater satisfaction over an extended period. A commitment to excellence is the safest and most predictable way to achieve and sustain business success. So that's our products, sustainable business success because we have excellent products. Again, I'll go back to our house that's being refurbished. There was 3 guys doing the floors for 3 days, and it was just a little section of the flooring, and they worked their tails off. We asked the guy, what time did you leave last night? And he said 7:30, 8 o'clock. So Chuck, you're in an industry where you know a lot of these guys that work their butts off, manual physical labor, what it's like to get down there, saw things, move things. And Angelique and I looked at these guys, and as they're flipping through his phone of all the work that he's done and the quality of work and stone and flooring, and we're thinking, Angelique goes to him, and she goes, man, you work your butt off, don't you? And he's like, he just looked at her, he said, yeah, I do. So then you realize what real work is. You guys have to have a conversation with people. You have to make friends with people. I don't take this for granted. I get to go out and make friends with people and introduce them to a healthier way of life. I'm not on my hands and knees cutting and sawing things and for 12 hours sometimes a day. That's real work, and that's what people are doing. Okay, we have an opportunity to supplement that. I don't know what the refurbishing cabinets does, but Chuck, but you obviously work with a lot of these guys in houses. You know what sweat equity and real hard labor is when you come home at night and you're exhausted because you've been doing physical labor.
And
yes?
What is your question?
Just, well, I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's what what you do with your business, but you're around these people. So we have a gift. We have the ability to talk to people. We have residual income. I want to know the value of a residual income, whether you love what you do and want to continue to do it for 20 years, or you're saying this is a way for me to transition. I want to know the value of being able to have conversations with people and not only get paid now, but continue to build your organization and set up a legacy for your future.
Okay. I look at it a couple different ways. You know, if I'm good at what I do and I cut hair, if I'm good at what I do, people will come back to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our business is a little bit more unique than that because I only get one chance to make a good impression on my customers. They're paying me a lot of money to refinish their cabinets because it's for one, it's less than buying new cabinets. So what they do is I only get one chance. It's going to cost them $3,000 to $10,000 to get their cabinet. They're not going to come back to me, but they're going to refer me to their friends. Because if I did a good job for them, they're going to tell their friends. If I did a bad job for them, they're going to tell their friends. So I know that in order to make this a great company, we had to present excellence and set high standards and exceed expectations. So when we're done with a job, our customers, the rewards are just great when they come to us and say, "Hey, you guys you exceeded my expectations. You did more than I thought you were going to do." And one of the reasons we're able to do that is because we charge a premium price. Whereas if we were just charging just enough to get by, barely make ends meet, then we wouldn't be able to do the extra stuff that we do when we see it. Because a lot of times when you're doing the work, and that's what happens with these good contractors, if they're doing something and they see something that needs to be done, they're going to just do it. But if you beat them to death on the price, they're not going to be willing to do the little extra things. And I think Isagenix brings that too. One of the things I see is when we did get something that we didn't order or it was the wrong order, we call them up. And I was expecting to send back what I have to get the new one. And they said, "No, keep it. We're going to send you another one." That's the kind of stuff that we do in our business. We're just able to just help out.
So two other things, Chuck. I'm glad I asked you about this because two other things. Obviously, what you're saying is word of mouth goes a long way in your business.
Big time.
Okay. Well, where else does word of mouth go a long way? In Isagenix, remember, we don't advertise. You know, I heard somebody bad-mouthing network marketing companies the other day, and I'm thinking, we don't advertise, so you can't bad-mouth us because we wouldn't be in existence if we weren't good, if we weren't of value. If we didn't give people the value that they feel they're getting from this, we wouldn't. Okay, and the other thing that Chuck said is so we have one chance because we do things the right way, and people are going to pay more if we don't do it right the first time. Well, guess what? If you don't take care of your life now, Mary Chandler, if you didn't take care of your life and your health now, we're going to pay more in the long run in 5 or 10 years from now in terms of your health. Yes. Right. So these are all things, guys, I need you to think on a deeper level. I need you to be confident when you talk to conversations. You're not, when we say premium, if anyone's coming in on this conversation and we say products are at a premium, sometimes I know that's what that definition said. And I know that I'm comfortable with it, but I don't want you to think premium meaning overpriced. Premium meaning we serve a community of people and we have a premium product, just like there's coffee that is premium, just like there is liquors that are premium, right? I always told, this is a great example. My nephew turned 21 and he went out and he got, for lack of a better word, he got shit-faced on vodka. And I said, "What did you do last night? You turned 21. What did you drink?" And he goes, "Whatever they had at the bar, it was the cheapest." I go, "Bingo. And now you're paying for it." I go, "Let me ask you a question. You're on the couch feeling you're going to throw up this morning. What if I told you that if you would have paid $10 to $20 more last night that you wouldn't have felt sick right now?" And he was like, "I would have definitely done it." I go, "Okay, but you wanted to take the cheapest route and now you feel like crap, just like the cabinets or my countertops. If we wanted to take the cheapest route, then you're going to have a sub-quality product." Now, I hate to use vodka, but we all know if you have a premium vodka like a Tito's or a Grey Goose, it's more expensive. But what it is, it's quality that you're paying for. Now, if you want to go out and buy Pop-Off or ABC vodka and feel like crap the next day, then go ahead. I don't know if this is a good correlation, but I always think you get what you pay for. And I don't think anybody on here, when you cut corners, you know it. So I know Shannon and Gus want to go. So let's go Gus, then we'll go Shannon. Go ahead, Gus.
I say ladies first. I'd like to hear Shannon.
All right. I love that. Go ahead, Shannon.
Hi, guys. So as far as what value that Isagenix brings, I have a couple, so don't kill me if this is one of yours. For me, it's brought me time as far as the importance of managing my time. I don't want to just kind of glide by the day and try to fit stuff in. And if I don't, then I wait until the next day. Hey, stop, hold on a second. I see. But it's having me maximize my time pockets where I can. That way I can get the most from my business and from my family and from my personal time. It's really had me put a value on each part of my time, of my day. And I never have before. It's always been, well, when I worked, it was, am I off today or am I working today? And then since I've been home, is there anything that has to get done? And then everything else was just kind of a bonus. And another thing it's given me is perspective, just how I view people and different ideas and products. And it's really expanded my, fairly narrow tunnel vision into this very grand picture that's not only much bigger than myself, but has really caused me to look at things with new eyes, to look at, even if it's not something that I would normally go to, because people are so passionate about it, I'm going to look into it because there's got to be something there, and maybe I read it or try it or look at it and it's not, but it's got me looking now at all different kinds of possibilities and not just sticking within my comfort zone, really. So
okay, let me react to that. So I love it because there's two things that are very off the charts. Your time free. And we always talk about that, I always talk about time, whether it's 30 seconds making a shake or, 35 minutes making lunch or something else, talking about grabbing something. So time is excellent. And the other thing that is beautiful, Shannon, you're talking about being open to more possibilities because you were open to this one. In other words, sometimes we're so narrow-minded, we assume that we know something, we don't give it a try because we're making assumptions about it, where you gave this a try after making assumptions about it probably, and it opened your eyes to Isagenix. So now you're taking that same thing and saying, well, what else is out there that I might have a narrow-minded view about that I'm not giving a fair chance to?
yes,
That's an amazing little detail that I think is wonderful that you added. So thank you. That's awesome. Guys, what did you think about that?
That hits the nail right on the head, because that's one of the big things for me. That is one of my points, and I do appreciate you bringing that up and showing that value. And David, you said it too. If I gave this a chance, what else in my life could transform the direction that I'm going in if I just gave it a chance? Last night we had a great call with Zach Sikich, and he said 4 things, right? 4 excuses, 4 words that he never allows in his circle to come into. And these are the biggest excuses that we hear. And it's busy, tired, expensive, and embarrassed. Okay? And that hits the head on both the product and the business side of things for people and their excuses. And let me tell you, the value that this has brought me, I see value so much greater than any one of those excuses that there is no turning back for me. And my goal is to share that value in each one of those blocks with people, because everyone's got a different excuse for themselves that they need to overcome. Like you said, with the time thing, you gave it a chance and look what it did for you, Shannon. So as far as busy, the convenience of it, no brainer. Just that alone would keep me on this for the rest of my life. Okay. I live a busy lifestyle. Never found anything more convenient in my busy lifestyle. Tired, I've never had more energy. The amount of time it would take to cook the food is energy. The amount of energy it physically gives me from putting it in my body takes me to a whole nother level for everything else that I do. Expensive, I save money on groceries. Yes, it's a premium product and it costs more than other stuff that I've taken. But let me tell you, by the fact that it replaces a meal and that it saves me time from going to the grocery store and back, it is not expensive, and it allows me to get it paid for by sharing it. So it doesn't even cost me anything anymore. So let's go another level on that, right? Because you have the business side to it, you share it with a few people, and now it doesn't even cost me anything anymore. That's simple. By helping other people feel as good as I do now and making their life a little bit more convenient, now I'm getting it for free. And then the last thing, embarrassed. People get embarrassed about the whole idea of saying the word network marketing. I was at the beginning too, because I had a bad experience with network marketing at the beginning. I love telling people I'm in network marketing because it is a different world that we live in. Let me tell you, the people that we've met, we had this conversation at the beginning, a couple of people mentioned this, is the people that you meet, the personal development that it creates, right? How many more people are going to say no, but how much more quality are the people that we have in our circle now because of it? You think of David and Angelique and people like Emily and Hayden, who you just saw interviewed by Eric Worre, who is worldwide known. The guy's fan page shot over 1 million fans for people that love this industry. And they were the most recent people interviewed by him because of what they're doing. And we're directly connected to them, right? Lori and Chris Harder. You've seen what Lori's done, the magazine cover she's been on with Angelique. Just top of the line people in our network. I saw Natalie Jill, who was on one of our Wednesday night business calls just recently on an interview with Gary Vaynerchuk on his fitness entrepreneurs. She's an Isagenix person. These are people that we are directly connected to, that believe in what we do, what we have, because it's real. We're a $1 billion company. Look up how many $1 billion companies there are in this entire world. They don't exist. We're the less than the 1% of the 1% in this world of people that start businesses and companies. We have something here that is so special and so great. And it is literally, I'm just getting started. I'm 2.5 years in, going on 3 years. And I feel like I'm just getting started because there's so much more that I learn every single day from you guys, from product experience. I've never been able to maintain my health this good over the last 3 years that I've in my whole life. As an athlete, I was always yo-yoing. On season, off season, on season, off season. Guess what? With Isagenix and me, the way I am now, there is no off season. And while I get to build this, while I get to build myself, I get to build the business in the pockets of my day by letting people how great I feel. I don't care if you have 20 minutes a week or 20 hours a week to do it. You can build this. If it takes you 10 years, it takes you 10 years. Where are you going to find something in the pockets of your day that is going to give you a part-time income that pays you more than your full-time job in the next 10 years?
That's
where
right.
are you going to be in 10 years now? 10 years, where are you going to be right now if you don't start sharing this? Even if it's with the people that you run across every single life, right? Take a second and think about that. I get so excited and so passionate about this, and I am so ready to fly with this and fly with you all. I'm here. I'm committed. The value surpasses any excuse that I could ever think of. And that's my 3 cents.
Well, the passion and the leadership, look at where, Gus, you have the ability, and you're destined and you were born to lead people because you care about people. So this is going to give you the vehicle. So the value is going to be for the rest of the world because you're going to have the ability to touch more lives and affect more people and really and change lives on a deeper level. And when Angelique has a slide that she's been using, it's just of an onion. And she says, you got to peel the onion has layers to it, and layers and layers. So there's layers to this. And that's why I felt like this value conversation was going to be so important this morning, because I got to get you guys to look deeper when you have conversations, to dig deeper. We always talk about asking questions and uncovering more than the surface. If somebody's just on shakes, if somebody's just on an AMP product and they're not taking all the system, you're not going to get the value out of the system. I was talking to somebody new yesterday, and he goes, well, how would you suggest to people that are just ordering a la carte? I said, look, you got to be strong enough to say, I'd rather have you not order Isagenix than just to order one thing. Because if you order one thing, you're not going to get the value of the system. And what's going to happen is people are going to ask you what you thought about Isagenix as a customer, and you're going to say it was okay. It was decent because you didn't take everything, right? You got to order everything. That way, if you have all or nothing, it's not like I took this and I didn't feel like everybody says. Well, duh. You took one shake a day or every other day, or you took Ionic Supreme once in a while. You didn't take Ionics, Cleanse for Life, and 2 shakes a day, so you're not going to feel like everybody else is saying that they felt spectacular. And what happens is that if that word gets out there, those people aren't going to say, hey, guess what? I didn't really think Isagenix was all that, but I only took one thing every other day. They're just going to say, I didn't think it was all that. And the other person won't know that they didn't do the system. They didn't follow the plan. They only took one product. So I'd rather say, hey, look, just don't do it at all. And when you're ready to really get on the system and try it for a month, money back guarantee, then we'll talk. That's a tough conversation to have because we know how valuable it is to get somebody. So let's talk about the layers. How many of you guys out there right now that aren't speaking have had Isagenix affect you in a way, and you want to give some feedback about the value of what you receive from this company or the products? Okay, Christine and then Judy. Go ahead, Christine.
I love what everyone's saying. Gus, you fired us up as always. And Shannon, you touched exactly on where I was going too. But the value that Isagenix has given me in just the 1 year is really, it's given me the belief that all things are possible and that I should help other people feel that about themselves. And like, for example, Rena's on here this morning. She just joined us the end of January, and Rena is notoriously not a runner, she told me the end of January. She was excited about how Isagenix made her feel. She felt great. And I said, hey, you'll be up on the treadmill. Oh, I'll never do that. I'll never do that. And it was a couple weeks later, she says, well, how would I start? So we talked about using a 5K app, and yesterday she posts online that she's finished the 5K app and loves it. And I seen her on the treadmill a week ago, and she looks like a freaking natural. She's a rock star runner, just hands back, relaxed, hair blowing in the breeze. It's fantastic. And I mean, Derek Watkins, he's might or might not be on here. Same thing. He called me in January and said, I'm your biggest challenge. I'll never do it. I'll never get anywhere. And he's down 30 plus pounds now in 3 months and loves it and won't live without it. So it's not the ability that, I mean, it flipped a switch in me instantly. I went from triathlons are dumb, those people are insane, to which one should I do next? But I wondered if that was just ridiculous in me, but it's in everybody. You just got to find the push button start, and getting Isagenix in them and being able to, talk to them and say, hey man, you didn't think you could lose 6 pounds and you did. So what's next on your you don't think list? Let's open up the possibilities so that you're no longer in that box that says, I do this and I do this and I don't do that. Say, I do this once and see what happens. I mean, and to me, that is a value that you don't get that at Costco and GNC. Sure, you can buy a protein shake, but their cashiers never called me and said, oh, that hurts and don't do it that way. Or, hey, way to go. You're still trucking. So
if you're listening to this right now and on a recording, rewind that part that she just said. And remember that's the value. People at GNC and at Costco don't call you and say, how are you doing? And remind you. And then the other thing you said, Christine, about your list, that I don't do this list. I'm not a runner list. I'm not an exerciser list, right? I mean, those are huge. The 30 pounds that your friend lost, 30 pounds, pick up 30 pounds and see what that means. We have people like Dave Waddell, who's on our team, who was 360, and he goes, I'm 298 now. He goes, I haven't been 298. I can't even remember. And he's doing things. He's hiking. He's doing things that he's never done. That's important. This is important that you brought that up, Christine. I mean, people have I don't do this list. This is not me. This is not in my comfort zone. And those lists get shattered. Because what happens, it's in their mind and their body has unlocked it. And then you're the final piece that is following up with them. And that's a value that I'm glad you brought up, the follow-up, the support. Okay, go buy a protein. Go order something from another company and see if you're going to kind of support and value that you get from Isagenix. That was hugely important. Thank you. What do you think, Judy?
I wanted Tiffany to go before me because I saw she had her hand raised, so I'll go after her.
Good leader. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Thank you, Judy. I was just waving because I didn't want to get everything that everyone said has kind of resonated with me. I think I was the tired, really busy mom that did not want to invest in myself. And I was kind of against all network marketing companies because being a military spouse, I had seen and supported all of my friends, and I was very hesitant to get into something like that myself. But, I did trust a friend and took the products, and within, I guess a week's time, my husband started to see the sparkle in my eye. And through this personal development, I have truly changed as a person, emotionally, spiritually, and through rebuilding myself and putting myself first, I have been able to build this business into the pockets of my time as a mom. And the value that I find is that, my family has always come first, but I have a purpose outside of my family that has really transformed me and given me financial freedom to be able to contribute to my family, because being a stay-home mom, I always felt guilty going to spend makeup on myself, which is like one of my other loves. And, buying new clothes for myself, I never felt the freedom to do that. So it started, and my husband would always get mad because he said, I would say, this is my money, my ISA wallet money. And then later it became something that we started saving. And this last week we went to close on our house, and I wrote the check for the closing cost. And to me, that was something that it meant so much more to me as a stay-home mom, because I brought the value financially now to our family without sacrificing my time away from my children.
Okay, let's put an exclamation point on that. I'm not meaning to interrupt you guys, but what happens is I need to put exclamation points on some of the things you're saying, because this is where you all are going to grow if you listen to these things. Here's a stay-at-home mom who was able to take her family to Disney World and pay for it. That was the first thing I remember you doing, which was powerful. And now she's writing the closing check on her house. And that gives her power. Not to mention, think about this. Every time she went out to buy makeup or buy something for herself, she felt guilty, right? So now she has the power. That is something that if you're a stay-at-home mom, that you will be able to relate to, okay? And that is huge, huge, powerful. And here's the other part. Some of you guys may be thinking, again, you have a disconnect between getting paid for these products and getting paid to do what we do. And some people have that disconnect or that guilt. Guess what? Tiffany she took her freaking spring break and drove up. She's from Florida and drove up to Pennsylvania and did 3 events. Okay. So it didn't come to her. Tiffany didn't wave a magic wand and someone said, here, pay your new closing check with this, because she worked for it, but she's working from her house on her terms. These are the things, Tiffany, that I'm glad you said, because we need to put a stamp on it. And you guys need to listen to this and realize that there's stay-at-home moms out there that want to feel like they're contributing and their self-worth. And maybe they had careers before and they started to have kids and they stayed at home. And now they're thinking every time they go out to spend money on themselves, that guilt. So you're giving them an opportunity to still be with their children and to earn money. And what they're doing is she's doing hard work. She's leading people. She's doing events. Okay? You know what it's like to have to put together an event and show up and do it? It's not easy. And she did it. You talk about the pockets of your time. She did it when her family was supposed to be on vacation. Right, Tiffany?
Yeah. I mean, and to talk more about that, it's like, I feel that this money not only has contributed to my financially, but I've been able to give back in so many other ways. I donate more to my church now. We're constantly looking for and I know, like, Christine talked to me about this the other day. I always say, I don't need this money, but I've been blessed with this opportunity. And Judy, what you said last week, I make a lot of money because I've helped a lot of people. And I no longer feel guilty about that. And it's something that I tell every single person. I make a lot of money with this company because I have been able to help so many people in the pockets of my time. And if you want me to show you how to do that, I now have the ability to do that because I've learned. I had no network marketing experience. So for me, that has been, like every single one of those things that Gus said, busy, tired, expensive, embarrassed, that was me. And within a year's time, I have been transformed from the products, from the personal development. And I just, I know that I have not been at warp speed within this company, but for me, I've been authentic and I've tried to always remember my goals and my purpose. And the value that Isagenix has brought to me is so much more than just the convenience of the shake.
Everybody on here is getting paid what they're worth. Let's be honest with it. If your paycheck or you're not getting paid at all, it's because you're not doing the work. If you're getting paid handsomely and being rewarded, that's because you're putting in the work. So make sure when you're having conversations, people think about network marketing as some people on top are making all the money and everybody else. No, everybody's getting paid according to what they bring to the table, just like any other job. Okay? If you're a contractor and you're doing good work and you're working your butt off, then you're getting paid accordingly. And there's other people in your industry that aren't because they're doing a half-assed job or they're not working as hard as you. So I want you to know that. And Tiffany said something important. She said she's putting in exactly the amount of time that she wants. Everybody can take something different away. All right. And she's getting rewarded for the time that she spent, and she's getting rewarded enough to do the things that she wants to do. Now, as she grows and she wants more, she will continue to get bigger paychecks because she'll be helping more people. I want people to understand that part. That was not a knock on Tiffany. That was actually a really good validation of the things she said, because I need people to understand that everybody is on different levels. Some people just want to get their products paid for, right? Some people don't want to put in 40 or 50 hours on a full-time job. They're just doing it in the pockets of their day, and they're happy with what they're getting paid. And some people are not having the conversations. You're not putting in the work. You're not learning enough about the products. You're not doing the follow-up calls with people. And that's why your business isn't growing as much, because it is work. This is a job. And everybody has the ability to make as much as they want. Some of you guys right now, think about you're going to work or you're doing things and you get paid as much as the industry will allow you, or your boss or your company will allow you. There is no cap. Everybody could say today is day one. And this year, starting May 10th till next May 10th, this is what I'm going to make. And you can go out and make it. It's only a matter of how much effort you want to put into it. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm willing to sacrifice this amount of time to make this much money. Like Angelique, and she got it from Peter Kelly. There's this analogy. Here's the ocean. You're going to walk up into the ocean. The ocean is Isagenix. You can walk up with a thimble and say, I just want a little bit of water, and I'm going to be happy with that. You can walk up with a jug, couple jugs, and say, this is what I'm going to take. Or you can back up one of those huge water trucks and say, this is what I want from it. It's there for you to take, and everything that people are making is in direct relation to their effort. Judy?
I want to say hey to Ella, since she's sitting there.
Hey, Ella. Judy's saying hi.
So what Isagenix has given me, and I was looking for something different, is posture. So, the truth is, like, no one really cares about what it's done for me or what it's done for you guys. What they ultimately care about is, what are you doing that's going to help me? So I used to get caught up in, I didn't have this weight loss, because a lot of people, it's, they need to lose weight. For me, it's never been about weight. So I always got caught up in my own experience, because, I wasn't very consistent when I started with Isagenix. So I didn't have this, oh my gosh, this is what it's done. And I'm just not naturally that type of person anyway, to where I'm just like exploding with rainbows and whatever all day long. But so I used to get caught up in that. But now what I've realized is I have a posture about me that I've never had before, meaning I'm doing me, I'm running my own race. So my actions speak louder than anything I could ever say. So regardless of what my transformation or what my experience has been, and for example, like I brought someone in to my team last week who is quitting Advocare, and she convinced herself on her own. Like, I never talked about Advocare at all. I never said, oh, well, these are the differences between Isagenix and Advocare, and you should come join us. I never said it. I listened to her, and I did me. So over a period of time, like she saw what I was doing, and I say a lot, the proof is in the pudding. Like, people will know the difference by watching what you're doing, seeing the difference in you, whether it be physical or just in your energy, because a lot of times people will tell me there's just something different about you. And I think that's where the personal development comes in, and being strong in who you are. But another thing too is, like, she told me with Advocare, like, basically when you go through the compensation piece of it, when people get to a certain point that are on your team or underneath you, like, you no longer get compensated off of them once they reach the same level that you're at. So it was like, when I told her how our compensation plan worked, like, she couldn't believe it. So, you guys, we all need to understand that we really have something special here that other people don't have. So not just a wonderful product that works, but also from the compensation standpoint, like, she was like, you really don't even want your people to succeed, but to a certain extent, because then you don't make any money off of them anymore. And then, the Zoom that I was on, that Gus was on, and a couple of us were on last night, where Zach was saying, I don't remember exactly what he said, but about this industry being in a bubble. Like, it's just now where, and Gus might have mentioned this earlier, I had to get on a phone call, so I apologize if I'm saying something again. But basically, like, people are just now understanding what's going on. But it's like, once they really get into this, like, it's really advantageous for us to already be here, because it's going to take off as long as we, I want to be a part of it. And I've heard it before, we're on a rocket ship, and I don't want to be the person who misses out and regrets not jumping on. That's because right. I didn't know, or whatever it may be.
That's right. Yeah, you will. And people, I always say that. I mean, look at the person next to you. Look at the person around you. Imagine in 3 years, they stick with us, and you'll see them. You go, that could have been me. Because we all have the same opportunity. And Judy brought up something. I'm the kind of person, I need to understand things, okay? And I need to bring that to you. So one of the things, she said she brought her friend over from Advocare, okay? You need to understand the fact that we don't advertise. So when Tiffany talks about being able to write the check, or when we talk about being able to do the things we do, and people say, well, that's a lot of money. But remember, we're working for it. And remember, this is why we are a word-of-mouth company that doesn't advertise. Listen to this, guys. Advocare sponsors the Cotton Bowl. It's AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It's called Jerry World. It's the biggest stadium that there is, okay? If you look up last year's Cotton Bowl, if you look up this, your Advocare is on the 50-yard line. On the when they go to the break and they have the score up there, it says the Advocare is sponsored by Advocare. I just looked it up. You know how much that costs? It's one of the most expensive bowls. It's $3 million to sponsor that. How many of you guys, if we divvied up that $3 million, if you have somebody that's with Advocare, go, hey, would you rather give $3 million to advertise on the Cotton Bowl to Jerry Jones, one of the world's billionaires, or would you guys like to split that $3 million up amongst you guys that are selling it? If I had every family, how many families in Isagenix, if you guys were making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, let's look at that. Let's do a little math here. So if I'm going to take $3 million, 3 million, ... does that even go on my thing? Yeah, 3 million, and we'll divide it by, let's say 50,000. Who wouldn't mind making 50,000 with Isagenix this year? 60 families. So that's 60 different families, and that's just 3 million, and that's just from the one game that they sponsor. Remember, Advocare pays people. They're on that thing every week of a college game. They're on it. And next time you're looking at college football, when you see a game that's in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, remember that Advocare is on that. They're paying sponsors. They're paying Drew Brees. I can't get this through enough. They're paying Drew Brees his second highest sponsorship that he earns, and the first one is Pepsi. This guy is sitting there telling you to put Advocare in your body, and then he's sitting there telling you to put Pepsi products in your body. Where is the honor in that? Where's the integrity in that? There is none. You've got to learn these lessons.
And that's where she struggled, David, because she's the one that told me. She was like, they don't work. And she's a personal trainer too. And she's like, I don't use this stuff myself. I can't even tell my clients to use it. So she saw what Isagenix was doing with me, and she's like, I see the value. I need to be using something that works for myself and everybody else. So I never said anything about Advocare. She's the one that, told me all about what didn't work.
Remember what Will Armillo said on Saturday at our Super Saturday. Someone came to him with the products, and he goes, I'm going to look at it so I can tell you why it's not going to work. And he did like so many people do. He turned over the label, and he started looking and looking and looking. He says, I can't find anything. That's what Dr. Paul Beyondich did. All these personal trainers, all these people that know nutrition and fitness, what they do is they go, give me it so I can tell you why I'm not going to do it. And they go in with a negative attitude, and they look at the ingredients, they look at it, and they say, well, geez, there's nothing on here that I would not recommend. This is all good stuff. So get that, pound that in your head. Go ahead, Chuck.
I'm going back to the residual income thing, and I wanted to bring up something because when Liz went to her kitchen, I saw the cabinet job that we did for her. And I just want to ask Liz, do you pay me every month?
No, that was a one-time gig. Thanks, Chuck.
That was a one-time thing. And so that's another value that it brings to Isagenix, brings to us too, is that we get paid for doing the work one time. Whereas in my other business, I only get paid once.
Right. Right. And this is what we get paid, like coaching bonuses. Good point. I mean, think about the coaching bonus. Do you guys realize that that came and went and no one's really hammering that home? The coaching bonus means if you get your person to stay on a system because systems are better, that you'll continue to get that PIB every month. So that means if there's 8 people that stay on it, that's going to be an extra $200 PIB every month for you for just helping them to continue with their health. Remember, you got to stay on the system. You guys are ordering products, and that's why they did the custom packs. So go through and look at your people who are ordering a la carte and ask them, why aren't they on a system? And they might say, well, I didn't want to order the system because I don't want Isoflush every week, and I had 4 bottles. Fine. That's why we have custom packs. Let's go back and revisit what you're using and see if we can get you on a custom performance pack. That way you get only what you need and what you want. The company needs to do a better job of reiterating that, because that was huge. When we did custom packs and we did coaching bonuses, if you're looking for something, way to spend your time and add value to both your customers and yourself, go back, look at your people who are ordering a la carte and not on the system, and find out how you can get them on a custom 30-day or a custom performance or a custom aging, and then you can continue to add value to yourself and them. Any other comments, guys? Any other people want to add what they feel is valuable about the company?
Yeah, David, I'll share real quick.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry, I'm at the gym, so I'll make it quick, trying to keep my heart rate up. But when we're talking about value, well, let me first say that, you know, when I first heard about Isagenix, I was the personal trainer, but I was the personal trainer with stupid knowledge. So I didn't have the ability to just look at something and say, this is what I'm looking for, but I did have the ability to do what everybody else did. And so what everybody else did was what GNC had and what their friends had, and being, you know, a young college athlete at the time, I just took whatever was the cheapest. And so it took me a long time to actually give it a shot. But then once I finally gave it a shot after I stopped being a skeptic, I really got to see what it did for my family and myself. And that's where the value comes in. And talking about value, so, you know, I went to school to be a teacher, and my dream has always been to play pro baseball, which those two things, being a teacher, you know, doesn't come with much money and a lot of time. And then playing pro ball, if you make it to the big leagues, that does come with a lot of money, but you have no time to spend with your family. So yesterday was actually the first day in our 6 months of being with Isagenix that my wife and I, during the week, not counting the weekend, had a chance to actually sit down and do this together. So when I think about value, I think about my wife and myself, and it's brought us an opportunity to be able to do something that we're truly passionate about together.
Yep.
And I feel like I love leadership. That's something that I love leadership. And so I've always thought that my leadership would come on the field, but now I have a vehicle to where I can still mentor and pour into people, but just using something different. And so the biggest thing for me is something that my wife and I can do together. And to me, that's more value than I could ever ask for.
Well, let me put a stamp on that too, Jeremy. 4 years down the road, I mean, when Angelique and I first started, she would go on her business trips alone, and I would go on my business trips alone, and that's not great for a marriage. We all know that. Look, things happen on business trips and these bigger companies that people, they drink and they're not healthy, and they're look, I can't say everything. I'm generalizing, but I've been around it, and you know, whether I was gone or she was gone, it's tough to do that. So if I can build a relationship and build a business with Angelique, and like, that's why I care so much about Jeremy and Allie, because I think it's definitely enhanced our marriage and our relationship, because we have the common goals and we're always together. And for some people that might not work for them, but for us, it works great. And I would like to see more men on these calls. You know, women built this company, and women are strong in this company. It's a great vehicle for women, but we need more men to realize that this is a great thing for marriages and family. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Where y'all at? No, but one other thing I was going to say, I forgot before I started speaking, but value. So I used to hate to read.
Go inside with mommy.
All the way through high school, all the way through college. Cliff Notes was my best friend. If it wasn't Frog and Toad, I didn't read it.
Right.
And since becoming a part of this family, I've read more books in 6 months than I've read in 23 years. And sometimes I actually have to put the book down and do more income producing activities, but I can't get away from it because of the growth that the team and the books have given me. So for me, that's a huge value because now I found another love that I have, and that's reading.
Yeah, you know who else said that on Saturday? Chris Harder. He said he had never, ever read a book. He said he started a lot of books, but he never read a book cover to cover until he joined this company. And then he did this challenge where he read 30 books in 30 days. So again, that's a value. That's something that it's bringing to people's lives that we need to understand. And as we wrap up this call, I want you guys to continue to think about it. Start a thread and remember that the value of what we have here is greater than most of us are talking about. And we need to really get into the questions. We need to get into people's hearts and really put an exclamation point on what we have here, because it will grow us all exponentially when we really start to think deeper and peel that onion layer back and see all the value that we're getting. So I'm going to wrap it up now. Like I said, if you want to continue, I'll start a thread in ISA Nation and we can continue to talk about value. But I think this has been a great call, and I want to thank everybody who participated. Have a wonderful day and go out there and preach value.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye.